I was 9 or 10 years old before I found out Listerine had anything to do with your mouth. In our house, it went on cut knees. My cousin's scalp itched raw one winter, and my aunt poured it straight on his head. Summers, somebody always had their feet soaking in a dishpan of it. The first time I saw an advertisement for it on television, I genuinely thought they had the wrong bottle. What they had was a word. In the 1920s, an advertising man dug up a piece of medical Latin almost nobody had heard, halitosis. He built a campaign on it. Chronic bad breath, a condition you didn't know you had, and they had the only thing that would fix it. Inside 7 years, that company went from $115,000 a year to more than $8 million. Before the word, it was a surgical antiseptic made in St. Louis in 1879 for operating rooms, then sold distilled as a floor cleaner. 20 of those jobs still work. Go and look at your bottle before I start, though, because half of what's sold now is alcohol-free, and the alcohol is what does this work. The original amber runs nearly 27%. If yours is the alcohol-free kind, most of this list is not going to happen for you. Number 1, your hairbrush. Think about what that thing actually is. It's something you drag through scalp oil twice a day and then set down on the counter, and most people have never washed one in their life. Same with the combs in the drawer and the makeup brushes standing in the cup. Pull the loose hair out, then stand them in enough mouthwash to cover the bristles for about 15 minutes. Rinse, stand them up to dry. The oil comes off, and whatever's been living in that oil doesn't survive the alcohol. Keep any wooden handle up out of the liquid while you do it, because alcohol lifts varnish, and I found that out on a good brush my daughter gave me. Number 2, the vase on your table. Cut flowers don't die of thirst. They die because bacteria multiply in the water and plug up the stems, so the flower is standing in a drink it can no longer take. That's why the water goes cloudy and starts to smell before the petals ever drop. A capful in the vase keeps it clear and buys you days. Cut the stems on an angle going in and change the water anyway when it looks tired. Number 3, that gray-white powder on your squash leaves. Minandle, if you grow anything at all, you've seen it, on squash and roses and phlox in late summer, spreading across a leaf until the leaf gives up. Powdery mildew. The horticulture department at the University of Minnesota put mouthwash against it, and it knocked the infection back. 1 part mouthwash to 3 parts water in a spray bottle. Go over a few leaves first and give it a day before you do the whole plant, because the old established growth takes it fine and those pale little leaves at the tip will scorch. Evening is better than the middle of the day. That's the whole method, and it costs you a capful. Number 4 is your bathroom mirror, and this is a job glass cleaner is genuinely bad at. It'll take fingerprints and dust off a mirror all day long. What it won't touch is the film that builds up in a bathroom, dried toothpaste spatter, hairspray, the haze off a can of dry shampoo. That's a resin, and a resin needs a solvent, which is what you've got. Straight onto a cloth, not sprayed at the glass, then go over it and buff it dry with a second cloth. Not your eyeglasses, though. The coatings on modern lenses will haze permanently. The dirtiest thing in your kitchen is number 5, and you're wiping your counters with it. A sponge lives wet, in the dark, full of food. Nothing you own is a better place to be a bacterium. Sit it in a cup of mouthwash for 10 minutes, wring it out, rinse it. Do the same with a dishcloth that's gone sour, the kind that smells fine dry and hits you the moment it's damp. Of everything on this list, this is the one I'd tell you to actually do, and it's the one nobody does. A sponge is the cheapest thing in your kitchen, and it touches more of your food than anything else in it. Doing this once a week is the difference between throwing one out every month and throwing one out every week, and you will smell the difference on the counter the next morning. Number 6, doorknobs, light switches, and the television remote. Every hand in the house touches all three, and nobody has ever cleaned any of them. Dampen a cloth, wipe them down, done. The remote is the one that will surprise you. Get into the seams around the buttons and then look at the cloth. Two places to go carefully. Unlacquered brass knobs will dull if you keep doing it, so those get a dry cloth and nothing else. And wipe the switch plate, not the switch itself, because you don't want liquid running down inside a live fitting. A phone case counts too, though only the case. The screen is a different story, and I'll get to it. Number 7. The white crust in a humidifier tank. Same for the cloudy ring in a narrow bud vase you can't get your hand into. Pour some in, swirl it, leave it an hour, then run a bottle brush through it. The alcohol cuts the biological film that's holding that mineral crust onto the glass. The reason it matters more in a humidifier than in a vase is that a humidifier's whole job is to put what's in that tank into the air of the room you sleep in. Whatever is growing down there goes into your lungs all night, so rinse it 3 times over when you're done, and run it once with plain water before you trust it again. Number 8. The lid of your travel mug. Pull the rubber gasket out of it. Go on. That black line underneath is why your coffee has tasted slightly wrong for a month, and why the dishwasher never fixed it, because the dishwasher can't get in there either. Gasket out, both pieces sitting in mouthwash for 15 minutes, then scrub the channel with an old toothbrush and put it back together dry. Any water bottle with a flip top or a straw has the same problem in the same place. Number 9 is a razor blade, and I'm going to correct something on this one. You'll hear that a cup of mouthwash keeps a razor sharp. It doesn't. Nothing in that bottle sharpens anything. What it does is disinfect the blade, which is worth doing if you nick yourself, and that is all it does. There's a part people leave off. The bottle is mostly water, so a wet blade left standing in it will corrode at the edge faster than you saved it, and a corroded edge is exactly what people mean when they say a razor has gone dull. Dip it, then dry it properly on a towel. I did that wrong for a good while before I worked out why my blades kept quitting on me early. Number 10. The bathroom drawer and the cup on the sink. Nail clippers, tweezers, cuticle scissors, the little pair you trim things with. Every one of those touches skin, goes back damp into a dark drawer, and never gets cleaned once in its life. 10 minutes in a cup of mouthwash, rinse, then dry them off properly before they go back in, because you've just put steel into a liquid that's 3/4 water. Your toothbrush wants the same, head down in a shot glass for 10 or 15 minutes once a week. Then look inside the holder it stands in. That brown ring in the bottom is weeks of drip, and it's the reason your clean brush goes straight back down into something filthy. Number 11. An itchy, flaking scalp. Miss Lurline, who lived down the road from us, swore by this for 30 years. She'd soak her scalp before she washed her hair, and she never had a flake on a dark collar in her life. There's a reason it might work. The amber formula has thymol in it, and thymol does knock back the yeast behind dandruff, in a laboratory dish anyway. There has never been a proper trial of it on dandruff, though, not one. So what you have is generations of women getting a result and no study behind it, which is worth exactly what it's worth. Try it if you like. Keep it off broken skin and away from your eyes, and don't put it on hair you've just relaxed or colored. If your scalp is genuinely angry, red, and scaling and sore, that's seborrheic dermatitis, and an antifungal shampoo from the pharmacy will do what this won't. Which brings me to number 12, the one nearly every video on this subject opens with, the toilet. It works. Pour some around the rim, let it sit 15 minutes, take the brush to it, flush. It cleans, it deodorizes, and it smells like a dentist's office, which some people love and some people can't stand. Now, before you pour, look at what's already in that bowl. If you use a bleach-based toilet cleaner, or you keep one of those bleach tablets in the tank, don't put mouthwash in on top of it. Bleach and alcohol together in a small closed bathroom make chloroform, and you already know what's in that bottle. Flush it clear first, or keep the two apart. And bleach is cheaper than mouthwash. So is toilet cleaner, and it was built for the job. If you're standing in a store deciding what to buy for your toilet, buy the toilet cleaner. This whole list is about the bottle you already own and can't use up. Number 13. The shower curtain liner. The bottom 8 inches where it stays wet and goes speckled. That band is the only part that never dries because it sits against the tub wall with water trapped between the two, and that's why the mildew always starts at the hem and works up. Lay the liner in the tub, wipe the speckled band with it neat, leave it 20 minutes, then rinse it off with the shower head. A liner most people throw out twice a year will last about 4 times that if you do it every month or so. And pull the bottom inside the tub when you're finished showering rather than leaving it stuck to the outside, which is what starts the whole thing. Number 14. The grout in the shower. Same fungus, harder surface. Spray it on undiluted, give it 20 minutes, then take an old toothbrush to it. On light grout, do a patch behind the door first, because a dyed rinse can tint it, and no bleach spray anywhere near it for the reason I gave you at the toilet. Here's why it keeps coming back on you no matter what you scrub it with. Grout is porous, so it's holding water and spores down inside it where nothing you spray reaches, and you're only ever cleaning the top. If yours has never been sealed, seal it after you've cleaned it and dried it out properly, and you'll be doing this twice a year instead of every month. Number 15 is laundry, and there's a claim attached to it that isn't true. You'll be told that if you've run out of detergent, mouthwash will wash your clothes. It won't. There's no surfactant in that bottle, and a surfactant is the thing in detergent that takes hold of grease, lifts it off the fabric, and carries it away in the water. Without one, you're rinsing dirty laundry in scented alcohol. What it genuinely does is smell. Gym things that stay sour after a wash, towels that go musty in a damp bathroom, the shirt that comes out clean and still smells like yesterday. A splash in the drum alongside your normal detergent handles all of that, because the odor is bacteria. Put it in the drum with water, never straight onto the fabric, and use a clear one if you've got it, because a blue or a green will stain a white towel. Number 16. The garbage disposal. That smell isn't coming off the blades. It lives on the rubber splash guard, the black flap you never lift, which has years of grease built up on the underside where nothing ever reaches it. Fold it back on itself, scrub both faces with an old toothbrush, then run a cup of mouthwash down the drain. Cold water while you do it, not hot. Hot water melts the grease and moves it further down the pipe to set again somewhere you can't get at. Cold keeps it firm enough for the blades to break up and carry out. Number 17. The inside of the refrigerator. The corners of the drawers, and the rubber seal around the door, which nobody thinks to look at until it's gray. Wipe it out with a dampened cloth and dry behind yourself as you go. It handles the black spotting in the seal and the smell in a drawer where something leaked and got forgotten. A cooler that's been shut up in the garage all winter is the same job. Rinse anything that touches food afterward. Number 18. Bath toys. If there are little ones in your house, squeeze one of those rubber ducks over the sink and see what comes out of it. Water gets in through the hole in the bottom and never comes out, and what grows in there is black, and it is going in the tub with the baby. Fill them with a mouthwash and water mix. Shake them hard, leave them sitting an hour, then squeeze them empty and flush them through twice with clean water. Do it on a day you can leave them out to dry properly. Hold down. Honestly, the ones that squirt are past saving after a while and you throw them out. Number 19. Feet. A basin of warm water, a good splash of mouthwash, a good splash of white vinegar, and sit in it a while with something to read. Then take a rough towel to your heels while the skin is still soft. It's the best thing I know for calluses and for heels gone gray and hard over a winter. If yours are cracked open, heal the cracks before you soak, because it will burn. Now, the toenail thing. You'll hear this cures nail fungus. There's never been a trial showing it does. Thymo kills fungus in a dish, and getting it down through a thick infected nail is another matter, and the dermatologists at U.S. Dermatology Partners put it plainly. It may help a mild surface case, and it will not clear an established one. Thick, yellow, lifting away from the bed. Go and see somebody. Don't soak for a year and lose the nail. Number 20 is the same job as number 12, except it's free. You rinse your mouth every morning and you spit it into the sink, where it does nothing at all. Spit it into the toilet instead. It's the same mouthful and the same morning, and on its way out it disinfects the bowl for you. A woman in a comment section worked that out, not me, and it's the best argument on this whole list. Now, 6 things you'll be told to do with that bottle that I'd skip. The first is mosquito repellent, and it's the most shared claim about Listerine there is. The idea came from eucalyptol, which is in the bottle and does turn up in repellents that work. But those run 40 to 75% eucalyptol, and mouthwash is under 1/10%. Grayson Brown, the entomologist at the University of Kentucky, says flatly that it doesn't repel mosquitoes. Spray it on your porch if you like the smell of it. Second, your phone screen. It'll clean it, and it also strips the oleophobic coating, which is the invisible layer that lets a fingerprint wipe off. Do it a few dozen times, and you've got a screen that smears permanently. A damp microfiber cloth is what that wants. The case is fine. Third, on the dog for fleas. The Animal Medical Center of Chicago is direct about this one. No veterinary dermatologist reaches for it. 27% alcohol on skin, a dog has already scratched, raw hurts, and the essential oils carry a real toxicity risk for cats. That's a job for whatever your vet hands you. Fourth, as a deodorant. Alcohol on skin you shaved that morning is going to burn, and it doesn't stop you sweating. Stuck in a hotel room with nothing else, it'll get you to dinner. I wouldn't make a habit of it. Fifth, on a child's head for lice. I watched a woman demonstrate that on camera while it ran into her own eyes twice. There's no evidence it treats lice, and it has no business near a child's face. And the sixth is the one I opened this video with, so I'd better be straight about it. The cut knees. That was the original job. It's what the bottle was invented for in 1879. It's what the label said for 40 years, and it's the one thing on this whole list I'd tell you not to do anymore. Alcohol on an open cut kills the bacteria, and it damages the healthy tissue that's trying to close the wound, so it stings like fire and it slows the healing down. What the guidance says now is clean running water first, then a gentle antiseptic if you want one, and you save the alcohol for the tweezers and for the skin around the cut, rather than the cut itself. My grandmother did what everybody did in her day, with the best information anybody had. It turns out to be a better bottle than she knew for about 19 things, and a worse one for that. Of the 20, the ones I do every week are the hairbrushes, the sponge, and the grout. The squash leaves surprised me more than anything else on here. And I'd leave the razor alone entirely unless you're going to dry the blade after. One more thing worth saying, because somebody will say it in the comments and they'd be right. For a lot of these jobs, it's the alcohol doing the work, and plain rubbing alcohol costs less and is stronger. If you're going out to buy something, buy that. All of this is about the bottle you already have and are never going to finish. That bottle was an antiseptic for 40 years before anybody thought to call it a mouthwash. Somebody wrote a word on a page in the 1920s, and your grandmother quit explaining what else it was good for. She knew anyway. So tell me which one of these 20 you're actually going to do tonight. And I'd put money on it not being the toilet.